Okay, so there's a couple pieces of information that you really need to know. I'll try to keep this as short as possible. First things first, you need to know what the current supply of homes in your market is. If you don't know what the supply of homes in your market is, you're going to have a hard time figuring out what's really going on. If you
926.
what's the supply in months? If no other homes come on the market, how long is it going to take to get to zero?
I think we're at three. I have to go back and double check, but we should be at 3 months.
Okay, so at a 3 month supply of homes, you're still a seller's market. The problem with the seller's market in a market like today, now keep in mind, anybody watching this video in the future, we're sitting at August of 2025. Okay, so August 2025, talking specifically Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is Midwest. So 3 month supply of homes. And by the way, that's way up from what it was because it was down in the ones for a long time, right? So a
A
three
thousand
means
percent.
it's going to take double as long as it did at 1.5, right? And this still has room to go up. So the problem we have in most of these markets is the seller saying, "Well, Russ, I want $350,000 for my house," when in reality the house should be at 300. Okay. The good news is when they're pricing those homes at 300, they bought them for like 175 or so 5, 6, 7 years ago. So they're still up $125,000 in equity, but they want to max out and get top dollar for their house. So the issue isn't that they bought it for 175 and they have to sell it for 170, right? They don't have that issue. It's just that they can't get the top dollar that they originally thought. So the way we price this and walk them through this so it makes the most sense, I found after doing it a couple hundred times with people that were substantially below where they wanted to be. This was every conversation I had in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I learned a super simple system. I would pull all of the active properties that were just like theirs, right? Just like yours. And when I showed it to him, I just showed him the statistics. I didn't show him the houses. I didn't show him the pictures. I'm like, statistics. Your house is 2,000 square foot. This is 1,800 to 2,200. Typical buyer doesn't know the difference between 1,800 and 2,000. They don't know the difference between 2,000 and 22. They look very, very similar to most people, right? Now, if you got 18 to 22, that's a noticeable difference typically. So what I want to do is be plus or minus 10% of your home. So all of the properties are active that are just like yours within a mile or within your neighborhood, right? So this is just like yours. Okay. And then all of the properties that are pending under contract currently that are just like yours. Remember, I want to say all of the pending properties that are just like yours. And the reason being is I want their brain to start going, they gave me all the info. Because what happens is if I'm not telling them that I'm giving them all the info, then they may think, well, I've been online and I found this and this and this and this and this. I want to make sure you understand this is all of the properties are just like yours, plus or minus within this regional geographic. If you don't have like a neighborhood it's in, like where I sit right now, I want to go within 1 mile radius of this house because it's all kind of reasonably plus or minus. You still have the same grocery store, you still have the same schools, you still have very similar houses. Very everything in where I live is 1 mile by 1 mile square. So I don't want to just stay in that square unless it's a major road like Telegraph. West of Telegraph is completely different than east of Telegraph. It's the difference between Redford and Detroit proper. Okay. So if it's not a jumping over a border, Redford, so the line between Redford and Livonia, you go on one side of the street and the other side of the street, it's $30,000, $40,000 difference, literally to be in Livonia because you're in Livonia schools versus Redford schools. So average sales price in Livonia a lot higher. So this is an area just like yours. So you got to delineate that. Okay. All of them. And then I'm going to show you all of the properties that are just like yours that sold in the last 30 days. Okay. And I'm going to put all of these on one spreadsheet if I can. Because typically, if you don't go too far out, I want to have 8, 10, 15 actives, 8, 10, 15 pending, 8, 10, 15 solds if possible, right? If that's the cross section. So if I only have like two, then I'm going to expand my radius, right? First. If I have 5 or 6, I can run with that because these are the ones that are just like yours. And by the way, just so you know, there's only 5 houses that are just like yours within a mile of here. And if I go 5 miles from here, there's 12. Okay, so let's go really hyper specific in your immediate area. And then what I can do then is I can set them up to say, okay, number one, Russ has given me all the info. So they're not going to have to go to 5 different realtors to find the one that says what they want to hear. I've given you all the info. Based on that, based on the properties that have closed just like yours, this is going to tell you how much is your house really worth. This is going to tell you exactly what people actually paid. Okay. If you are priced in the price point where the properties are under contract, there's a good chance you're going to be under contract because You were priced there, you'd be sold, right? So here's the thing. They want to compete with the actives when in fact, you might have a scenario where in your market, particularly right now, the actives are all going to be overpriced. And the ones that are selling are the ones they negotiate down to the price that buyers are willing to pay or negotiate back down to the correct price. So you'll see people list their property at 350, knowing full well it's worth 300. Everything else in the market sold at 300. But they've heard for the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years, I listed my house for 300 and I got 350. So they're like, I'll just list it for 350 and get the 350. Or maybe I'll take 325. Their brains are miswired for the way the market is working today. So based on the market today, at a 3-month supply of homes, we have 7 properties that are under contract, which means if we price your property at a price like that, we should be under contract. If we don't sell for some reason, do you know what the problem is?
Price is too high.
You're not priced right.
Yep.
Okay. So a lot of people say, well, it's conditions, colors. Like, I don't like the way that room is painted. Realistically, when push comes to shove, you could take a house that's completely trashed, that smells horrible in a really bad area with neighbors that are really bad, and it'll still sell if you price it right. You price it for $1 and it's a house that's standing and you can live in, somebody will buy it and put a tenant in there for $500 a month, right? So it always comes down to price. So what we want to do is say, what is the market telling us our house is worth? Not what do you think it's worth, not what Zillow thinks it's worth. What are the buyers that are standing in the market now with the current economic conditions, with the current feel of uncertainty that's out there? What are they willing to pay for your house just like yours? This is exactly where you need to be priced. So based on that, where you need to be priced. And they come back with what? They're like, well, Ben, I need to be 350. I was like, okay, so you need to be 350. So I'm going to draw it just like this, Ben. And this is the difference between what I do and what most people do. I'm going to draw it out for them. I'm going to show them, not just tell them. Okay. You've got how many properties for sale? You've got 5 properties for sale, just like yours. Cool. You got what you want 350 for yours. There's one on the market, it's 325, just like yours. There's one on the market, 315, just like yours. There's another one on the market, it's 350, just like yours. And then the last house, 375. Okay. So based on that, Ben, if you were a buyer and the homes are just like yours in a very similar area, which one of these 5 houses are you going to buy?
315 gets it.
Okay. So here's the thing. I've got to pause and I've got to make them say it. Because if I don't pause and make them say it, then they're going to say, well, hang on. Got it, Ben. Cool. We'll tackle that next. I asked a direct question and I asked it for a specific reason, and I'm going to expect you to answer it because I want to make sure you understand how it really works. Now, there's 2 conversations that are going on here. There's what should you price your house at? And then the second conversation is what would you price your house at? Right now, I want to talk about what should you. I want you to prove to me you understand what I just explained to you, because if you understand what I explained to you, you should know what it should be. And I want you to say it so I understand that you understand it, correct? Okay. So good news is you spit it right out 3. So when a buyer comes out, almost all of them are the same. You notice they're almost all the same, right? And one of them is 315. That's the one that's sold. So what happens next? Boom, that one's gone, right? What happens next? This one sells, right? By the way, we're selling 2 houses a month out of here. 1, 2. Now the problem is you've got comps out in the market now. One's 315, one's 325, right? You've got another one over here still at 350 because they're still stuck there. You got another one at 375. Like, where do you think where do you think the buyer's gonna expect this house to be competitive with the ones that just went off the market? Not 350, right? They saw 350, they saw 350 and 375. They chose this one and this one, right? So this guy here needs to be what price to be competitive with these guys in the market right now and get the home sold. The buyers are saying this is what your homes are worth in your market. So what price should you be?
315, 320, 310, right? Somewhere in there.
Okay. So let's just say they say 325. Okay, great. So 325. And then you've got another one that comes on the market at 315 because they looked at this and they said, well, buyers are willing to pay 315 to 325. I better be there. And then this guy over here is going to be like, I need to drop mine down to 320 because I'm not getting sold either. So now you got a choice of 5 properties that are in the same price point. Which one sells first? Still the
Yep.
15, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if you've got two houses to pick from, one's 315, one's 325, and they're almost identical in the similar area, which one are you going to buy? Same one. So even you wouldn't buy your own house if you were a buyer in this market.
I think the part there's good takeaways here. Thank you for walking me through that.
Let me go
That
one more
one,
step. Let me go one more step, and then I'll entertain any conversations, any other
right?
questions. Let's run it around in circles a couple times, right? Okay, so here's the question. What do you think you should be priced at? 315. Okay, so if you've got a property that's 315 and there's another one available for 315, right? Got this guy over here, right? Two available for 315. How do you get your home sold? It's a toss up, right? So whichever one they like. Hey, I like the granite color in the one or the updates or what. So if you're 315 and you're a little bit nicer than the other guy, or you're a little more updated than the other guy, that's how you get your home sold. If you're 315 and you're not as nice as the other guy, or you're not as updated as the other guy, you're going to need to be down at probably 300 to be able to make them say, I'm going to buy your house versus the other house. Does that make sense? So based on that, now I can look at specifics. The other one is 315. Kitchen's not as updated as ours. Ours is more palatable. Ours is more neutral. There's less things that need to be done to ours. So it's 315 versus 315. Ours is more turnkey. Boom, that's how we're going to get sold. Does that make sense? Okay, now we can go anywhere with this.
Well, I mean, I think how I got here is I was looking back at where we were the year, go back to the 1 year CMA,
Yeah,
didn't adjust enough. I adjusted a little bit. Top CMA said 371. We went up
yep,
at 359.9. So I
yep,
wasn't trying to over push the CMA. However, that home had been listed before. So I have some scenarios where they're cash rich on the property.
yep,
Those aren't the hard ones. The
yep.
hard ones are the guys that bought,
2 years ago.
overspent on improvements, are
Yeah,
taking a loss,
yeah,
but yet they really want to move. And I'm like, that's where I had this. I need to go look at the 30-day. I mean, everything you said today, I like a lot.
30 day.
That's important.
What's going on today? Well, so the thing is, so Ben, I'm glad you mentioned that, right? This is telling you what's happening today. This is going on as we speak. People are under contract on a property just like yours. That's not yours. Why? I
But
can, I can
and
go in
I
and look
won't
at them. They're
know,
either nicer or better price. Period. That's it.
you know,
So if they're nicer and the same price, they're sold. If they're the not as nice and a better price, they're still sold. Right? So what's selling? So I can look specifically like, how do you and I compare side by side with this guy? This guy's under contract. Why aren't you under contract? Well, that guy's 315. You're 350, right? Okay, so let's get back to pricing, okay? Because you just said something that triggered, and I need to make sure other people and anybody else that sees this, Ben, will see this part of the conversation. Okay. So pricing a house. Okay. You just said 359. Okay. Uh, no judgment on you at all. I've seen this a bunch of times, but when I say this out loud, you're gonna be like, oh crap, Russ. I should have thought of that, right? How do buyers look for a house right now? They go online, right? And at this price point, they pop into, I could open up Zillow right now or Trulia right now or right. And what'll happen is there's a drop down, yeah? And that drop down would be like 300 to 350, 350 to 400. And when you go south of here, it'll be like 375 to 400, 350 to 375 potentially. So it depends on which site it is, right? But what I want you to start thinking is all of these price points are big, fat, freaking round numbers. Okay. This is a search. This is also a search. So when you price the property at 359, which search do you get in? If you're that close and you price the property at 350, which search do you get in? Twice as many eyeballs on the same property over 10 grand. So what happens is you might say, okay, well, Russ, well, I don't want to give away 10 grand because this thing's probably worth great. But if you put it on the market like that and you get eyeballs in a 3 month supply market, you're going to have double the set of eyeballs. You're also going to be in this search, you're going to be the nicest house. In this search, you're going to be the least expensive house. So there's a win either way. So if somebody's saying like, hey, my range is 3 to 350, this is the nicest house in the 3 to 350 range. I want that one, even though it's top of my game. I still want that one because it's got the updated I like. This on this side, you're like, hey, my range is 350 to 400. This one's the cheapest one of the bunch. But if I put 50K into that thing, I'd rather put 50K of my own money into it and make it 400, but make it my own. I'll put a couple bucks into it, make it my own, or I'll just keep it. It's the best deal in the market. In that price point, you got the cheapest house in the market. So there's a set of eyeballs for both of them. We just and by the way, people are like, Russ, you actually do this? Yes, my in-laws probably should have got around 360. I'm sorry, 460, 465 for their property. I showed them the drop downs, and my father-in-law's like, we need to be 450 because it's 450 to 500 and 400 to 450. Because at 450 we get 100,000 spread of eyeballs looking at it. This side, it's the best price property, but also the nicest and the most updated and the newest. On this side, it's the least expensive, but still damn near brand new and perfect condition, right? So which way do you want to go? And they're like, had another conversation. It's like, well, it should be like 365 or 370. You're saying it's worth. I'm like, yeah, but if we price it at 365, 370, we lose half of the eyeballs. We price it at 350, we end up with a bidding war because at that point it was a 1.8 month supply of homes in their neighborhood. We end up with a bidding war and drive the price up to where it needs to be. At 365, 370, you're missing half the eyeballs and you're going to actually drag the price down. And what'll happen, somebody will offer 345. I'm sorry, 445 instead of 460 or 470. They'll offer 445 because they're going to try to get a deal. And if you sit on the market, then you're going to get even lower offers. So they ended up pricing the property at 450 and they ended up going under contract at 465. Closed out the door with really great terms also, right? So the goal is, and when I see more expensive properties, like 7 and 8 and $900,000 houses, 1 million. I see a 999, it makes me cringe. You know why? Because at 999, they're searching at $250,000 increments. That means the people that are searching for anything a million and up didn't even look at the property and it's right there. They're $1 off and they missed it, right? People don't search 975 to 1,025,000. That's not how they search. They search a million to a million two, a million to a million one, 900 to a million, right? So you want to double up those searches and double up the eyeballs. That's just marketing 101 based on what buyers are doing and what welcome to the internet did to us. Okay. Good way to think about pricing.